Alright, so we're story time hour. Alright. And I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any links to click. Well, I do have one link. You can click on it. It's organic vitamins, mineral powders, capsule machine, and it's in the link below. You'll find it. If you buy things through that link, it helps me get a break. I am retired and living on a fixed income. It's not easy these days, but that's not about my fixed income. This is story time. I'm going to tell you a story about spirits. And before we get too far, subscribe and like. And if you subscribe, that helps me out big time. You know, I subscribe to a lot of people. It's only fair, I think, ain't it? Like and subscribe. It can't hurt to give a thumbs up either, you know? But anyway, this is going to be a story. And it's about spirits, whether you believe them or not, okay? The American Indians always had chiefs, and they had storytellers, and they were big on passing down their spiritual beliefs and their heritage, which I kind of believe a lot in, you know, not kind of, I do, because of the things that have happened to me. And one of the stories I'm going to tell you about is a friend of mine, and what happened. Okay, so I had a friend of mine. Her name was Ann, and I used to text, email, call each other all the time, and we used to stay in touch quite a bit. We worked together. We worked the same job. We drove truck together, and we had a lot of laughs, a lot of good times. We became very good friends. We were best friends. And Ann didn't like the job. She had better options than I did. I had to stick it out. So she left, got a different job, but she always stayed in touch with me forever. And she told me about going down to North Carolina and seeing one of her exes, and I said, "Oh boy, I don't think that's a really good idea, is it? After everything you told me about." So she did, and she called me, and I gave her my thoughts on what to do and things, and what I felt, what I thought about the situations, and we stayed in touch all the time. I kind of always knew roughly when she was even gonna call me sometimes, or text me, or email me, you know. So I got a call one day, and it was Ann. She was in Virginia, and she was living with her mother. And she asked me what I was doing, and I said, you know, the same old thing, you know, working, and the same place. She said, "How would you like to come down and see me?" And I said, "Wow, boy, yeah, I'd like to. I mean, okay." So I went down there. Long story short, she said she had cancer, breast cancer, and she told me I already knew her. Her father had cancer before, and he was big on organic stuff, all natural. He stayed pretty close to the earth, and Ann was a lot like her father. And she told me over the phone that she was going to do what her father did and try organic meditation and some other things. Okay, and I said, "Oh boy, Ann, I don't know. You know, cancer's it's a pretty bad thing. You know, I don't think you should take that chance. I think you should get some help." So, anyway, long story short, I went down to Virginia, stayed with her, and I could see she wasn't doing very well, and she wasn't eating, and I couldn't smoke weed. The job I had, I couldn't smoke weed. I get drug tested. This is back before pot was legalized. So I said, we got to get some weed. You got to smoke some weed and help with this nausea and all this other stuff and what's going on with your body. By now she was taking treatment, and one of her friends come over, and I pulled him aside and I said, "Hey," I said, "we got to get some weed." So he said, "I can do that." And I said, "Okay, good." And I said, "Let's get some weed. Let's get her smoking some weed." So we did, and I went out. I got some food and brought it back, all the things she liked, and she ate. She ate really good. She ate real good that day, the next day, and the days I was there, she ate something every day. And during the course of those days, she had me shave her head bald. I made videos of all these things, but Ann was kind of a stickler in some ways. I don't know if it was her privacy or what it was, but I got home, and a lot of those videos, they weren't on my camera. And I know Ann was nowhere near my camera, but the pictures were gone, the movies were gone on my camera. So I didn't have those. I had a few of us standing around that she had sent me. And while I was there, we went out shopping and things, and we talked like we usually did. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but at the time, Mobil Oil Company had an oil rig off in the ocean somewhere, and it had broke free. And that oil line was, I don't know how many thousands of feet down in the ocean, but it broke free, and it was just spewing oil, whatever it is they pump up out of the ocean floor, okay? And Ann was pretty upset about that. She was pretty pissed, actually. And there's a reason I'm telling you this. So my days there were getting shorter, and I had to come back home because I had to go back to work. She wasn't a family member, so I couldn't stay there, you know, for an extended length of time, which I really would have liked to have done. But I left. I came home, and it was the year in Virginia that it was kind of like something telling me that I needed to stay a little longer. Virginia had probably one of the biggest snowstorms they'd had in a long time, and I got there by railroad, Amtrak, and I couldn't leave by Amtrak. Amtrak trains they were all shut down. They couldn't get down the railroad tracks. Something that big, you know. So I went to the airport, called around, and I couldn't get a flight. And I finally ended up getting a small, like a commuter flight back home to New York. Talked to my wife about everything that was going on. I said she's not doing too good. Following days, I got a phone call that she had passed away. But while I was down there, she always told me about this mountain she wanted to climb. It was in the Catskills, and it's way up on this mountain. I can't remember the name of it, but you go way up to the top of it, and there's literally, it looks like a volcano when you're standing on the rim of it with a big chunk broken out. And down in the bottom of there was this big pool of crystal clear blue water, and it fell down from the waterfall up there. And she always wanted to go there, so I said, okay, I'm going to go there. And my wife and I took the drive, and she said, go ahead on up. You can hike faster than I can. I'll be alone. So I did. I climbed and I climbed and I climbed. I got to the top of this mountain, and I got to this inside rim of this, almost like a cliff, looking down, hundreds of feet down. It was hot. It was dry. It was calm. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. It wasn't windy. It wasn't anything. And I stood there at the top, and I looked up at the sky and I said, okay, Ann, I'm here. And I don't know what I expected, but I got a sign from Ann that she was there. All of a sudden, the wind picked up, and it just blew right around me, just right around me like this, going around me and around me. And it wasn't fierce, it wasn't scary. It was just a calm, gentle turbulence going around me, like caressed me. And just as soon as it started, it stopped. And I was like, looking around, and I was like, did that just happen? And when I was standing there, a rock, pretty good sized rock, decided it was going to roll down the side of the hill. And I was just looking around, motionless, and amazed. I mean, this wasn't the first time this had ever happened, you know. And this rock, about yay big, just started rolling down the side of this rim, you know. And it went crashing down the bank. I looked back up at the sky, and I said to myself, wow. Thank you. That was my spiritual encounter again with Ann. And I'll never forget that. So if you don't believe in spirits, or you find that in a situation where you're having some kind of spiritual encounter, I think they're real. That's what I think. The American Indians believed it, and I believe a lot of what they feel and think and see. I believe in a lot of things that the American Indian are proud for, and I believe in a lot of things that they believe in. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I get these things. I don't know. What do you think? You tell me. Like, subscribe, and I'm all over the place. I got all kinds of things going on. Camping, boondocking, welding. I do all kinds of stuff. I do anything and everything I can do to support myself. And if you subscribe to this channel, you'll be helping me. And in today's time, I think we all need a little help.